Have you ever felt that there's more to life than what meets the eye? That's because there is. There are some spiritual things that can change your life forever. And today, we're going to explore them together. These ideas aren't about fancy practices or complex rituals. They're about understanding yourself better and seeing the world in a new light. It's like finding a hidden map to your inner self, a map that's been there all along, waiting for you to discover it. Imagine waking up one day and feeling truly connected to everything around you. Picture yourself facing challenges with a sense of calm and purpose. That's what spiritual knowledge can do for you. It's not about becoming a different person. It's about uncovering the amazing person you already are. Think about it this way. Your life is like a garden. Right now, you might see some weeds, some bare patches, maybe a few flowers here and there. But with the right spiritual understanding, you'll learn to nurture your garden, to help it grow and flourish in ways you never thought possible. You'll learn to plant seeds of positivity, water them with gratitude, and watch as your life blossoms into something beautiful. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? How can understanding spiritual ideas improve my life? Well, let me tell you, when you grasp these spiritual concepts, your whole life can change. It's like putting on a pair of glasses for the first time and suddenly seeing the world in crisp, clear detail. This is the heart of spiritual growth. It's not about following strict rules or changing who you are. It's about peeling back the layers to reveal your true self. Think of it as cleaning a dusty old mirror. As you wipe away the grime of negative thoughts and limiting beliefs, you start to see your reflection more clearly. You begin to recognize your own strength, your own beauty, and your own potential. But here's the thing. This journey isn't always easy. Sometimes it can feel like you're walking through a dark forest, unsure of which way to go. That's okay. That's part of the process. Every step you take, even if it feels like you're going in circles, is bringing you closer to understanding yourself and the world around you. And here's a little secret. I'll share a simple but powerful exercise later in this video that can help you on this journey. It's a tool you can use every day to connect with your inner wisdom and navigate through life with more clarity and purpose. Let's dive into our first spiritual concept, the idea that everything is connected. Now, this might sound a bit strange at first, but stick with me. Imagine throwing a pebble into a calm lake. You see the ripples spread out, touching everything in their path. That's a lot like how we're all connected in this world. This connection isn't something you can see with your eyes, but you can feel it in your heart. It's the warmth you feel when you help a stranger. It's the joy you share when you laugh with a friend. It's even in the sadness you feel when you hear about something bad happening on the other side of the world. Think about a time when you felt really in sync with someone, like you could almost read their mind. Or maybe you've had a moment where you felt at peace in nature, like you were part of something bigger. These are glimpses of this connection we're talking about. Now you might be thinking, that's nice, but how does this help me in my everyday life? Well, understanding this connection can change how you treat others and yourself. When you realize that your actions can affect people you've never even met, you start to act with more kindness and consideration. It's like being part of a giant web. Every choice you make sends vibrations through that web. Choose to be kind, and that kindness ripples out into the world. choose to be angry, and that anger does the same. Knowing this, you might think twice before lashing out at someone in traffic or gossiping about a coworker. But it's not just about being nice to others. This connection means that the good you put out into the world can come back to you in unexpected ways. Have you ever done a small act of kindness and then had something good happen to you later? That's this connection at work. Understanding this connection can also help you feel less alone. On those days when the world feels too big and overwhelming, remember that you're part of something larger. You're connected to every person, every animal, every plant on this planet. There's comfort in knowing that you're never truly alone. Here's a simple way to practice feeling this connection. Next time you're in a public place, like a busy street or a crowded store, take a moment to look at the people around you. Remember that each person has their own story, their own struggles, and their own joys. Silently wish them well. You might be surprised at how this small act can make you feel more connected and more at peace. This idea of connection also extends to how we treat our planet. If everything is connected, then hurting the earth is like hurting ourselves. This understanding can inspire us to make more environmentally friendly choices, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because we truly feel that we're part of nature, not separate from it. In your daily life, you can practice this concept by being more mindful of your actions. Before you speak or act, take a moment to consider how it might affect others. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect all the time. It's just about being aware and making conscious choices. Remember, this connection isn't always easy to see or feel. There will be days when you feel disconnected and alone. That's okay. The connection is still there, even when you can't feel it. On those days, try to remind yourself of times when you did feel connected. Hold on to those memories like a lifeline, knowing that you'll feel that connection again. As you go through your day, try to spot the signs of this connection. Maybe it's a stranger smiling at you for no reason. Maybe it's a song on the radio that perfectly matches your mood. These little moments are reminders of the invisible threads that tie us all together. Understanding this connection can also help you be more compassionate towards yourself. Just as you're connected to others, you're also connected to all the different parts of yourself, your past, present, and future selves. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. This concept of connection is just the beginning of our spiritual journey. As we explore more ideas, you'll see how they all intertwine, creating a rich tapestry of understanding that can transform your life. Keep an open mind and heart as we move forward, and remember, you're already connected to the wisdom we're about to explore. You just need to tune in and listen. Our second spiritual concept is all about living in the present moment. Now you might be thinking, of course I live in the present. Where else would I be? But the truth is, most of us spend a lot of time living in our heads, either worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Living in the present means fully experiencing what's happening right now, without getting caught up in thoughts about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. It's about being aware of your surroundings, your feelings, and your thoughts in this very moment. Think about the last time you ate your favorite food. Were you really tasting it, savoring each bite? Or were you scrolling through your phone, thinking about work, or planning your next meal? If you're like most people, you probably weren't fully present for that experience. And that's what we're talking about here, being fully engaged in whatever you're doing right now. Why is this important? Well, the present moment is where life actually happens. It's where we make decisions, where we connect with others, where we experience joy and learn from challenges. When we're constantly thinking about the past or future, we miss out on the richness of our lives as they're unfolding. Living in the present can also reduce stress and anxiety. Think about it. Most of our worries are about things that might happen in the future, or things we can't change from the past. But when we focus on the present, we realize that right now, in this moment, we're usually okay. Here's a simple way to practice living in the present. Next time you're doing a routine task, like washing dishes or taking a shower, try to focus all your attention on that activity. Notice the temperature of the water, the smell of the soap, the sensation on your skin. If your mind starts to wander, and it will, gently bring your attention back to what you're doing. This might seem trivial, but it's actually a powerful practice. By learning to focus on the present during simple tasks, you're training your mind to be more present during all aspects of your life. You might start to notice things you've never seen before, like the way sunlight plays on the leaves of a tree, or the subtle expressions on a loved one's face. Living in the present doesn't mean you never think about the past or plan for the future. It's about finding a balance. Use the lessons from your past to inform your present actions. Make plans for the future, but don't let those plans prevent you from enjoying what's happening now. This concept can be especially helpful when dealing with difficult emotions. When you're feeling sad or angry, try to really experience those feelings in the moment, without judging them or trying to push them away. Often we make our suffering worse by resisting what we're feeling. But when we allow ourselves to fully experience our emotions in the present, we often find that they pass more quickly. Practicing presence can also improve your relationships. When you're really listening to someone, giving them your full attention instead of thinking about what you're going to say next, you create a deeper connection. People can feel when you're truly present with them, and it makes a big difference. One of the biggest obstacles to living in the present is our addiction to our devices. Our phones, computers, and TVs are constantly pulling our attention away from the present moment. Try setting aside some device-free time each day to practice being present. You might be surprised at how much richer your experiences become. Remember, living in the present is a skill that takes practice. Don't get discouraged if you find your mind wandering a lot at first. That's normal. The key is to gently bring your attention back to the present moment whenever you notice you've drifted off. Over time, you'll find it becomes easier to stay present. As you practice living in the present, you might start to notice a sense of peace and contentment that wasn't there before. You might find yourself worrying less about the future and letting go of regrets about the past. You might even discover a deeper appreciation for the simple things in life: a warm cup of tea, a comfortable chair, the sound of rain on the roof. Living in the present doesn't mean you ignore your responsibilities or stop planning for the future. It's about finding a balance between planning and doing, between thinking and experiencing. It's about fully showing up for your life moment by moment. As we move through our day, we have countless opportunities to practice presence. Waiting in line at the grocery store, sitting in traffic, even just taking a deep breath, these are all chances to come back to the present moment. Each time you do this, you're strengthening your ability to live more fully in the now. Our third spiritual concept is about energy and vibrations. Now don't worry, we're not going to get into complex physics here. This is about understanding that everything in the universe, including us, is made up of energy that's constantly moving and changing. Think of it like this. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt that something was off, even though everything looked normal? Or maybe you've met someone and instantly felt drawn to them without knowing why. That's you picking up on energy. Everything gives off a certain kind of energy or vibe. People, places, even objects can have their own energy. And here's the really interesting part. Our thoughts and feelings create energy too. When you're happy and positive, you give off a different kind of energy than when you're sad or angry. Understanding this concept can be incredibly powerful. It means that you have the ability to change the energy around you by changing your own thoughts and feelings. It's like being the DJ of your own life. You get to choose what kind of music you're playing. Now you might be thinking, that sounds nice, but how do I actually use this in my life? Well, let's start with something simple. Next time you're feeling down, try to imagine yourself surrounded by a bubble of bright, warm light. Really feel that light energy flowing through you. You might be surprised at how quickly your mood can shift. This idea of energy can also help us understand why some people or places make us feel good, while others drain us. Have you ever spent time with someone who always seems to complain, and afterwards you felt tired and negative yourself? That's because energy is contagious. The good news is, positive energy is just as catching as negative energy. Here's a way to practice working with energy. Before you enter a situation that you're nervous about, maybe a job interview or a difficult conversation, take a moment to set your energy. Take a few deep breaths. Think about how you want to feel, confident, calm, friendly, and imagine yourself radiating that energy. This can help you enter the situation in a more positive state. Understanding energy can also help us be more mindful of the energy we're putting out into the world. Are you spreading positivity and kindness? Or are you unknowingly spreading stress and negativity? Remember, the energy you put out tends to come back to you, so it's in your best interest to spread good vibes. This concept of energy extends to our environment too. The spaces we live and work in have their own energy. That's why it feels so good to clean and declutter your home. You're literally clearing the energy. You can take this a step further by being intentional about the energy of your space. Maybe you light a candle, play some uplifting music, or simply set an intention for the kind of energy you want in your home. Now, it's important to note that working with energy doesn't mean you'll never feel negative emotions. Sadness, anger, fear, these are all natural parts of the human experience. The key is not to get stuck in these lower energy states. When you notice yourself in a negative energy, acknowledge it, feel it, and then consciously choose to shift to a higher energy when you're ready. One powerful way to raise your energy is through gratitude. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you naturally shift into a higher vibration. Try starting each day by thinking of 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a comfortable bed, a hot cup of coffee, or the sound of birds singing outside your window. Understanding energy can also help us in our relationships. When we're aware of the energy we're bringing to our interactions, we can communicate more effectively. If you're about to have a difficult conversation, take a moment to center yourself and set an intention to approach the situation with calm, understanding energy. This can completely change the outcome of the conversation. Remember, you're not just affected by energy, you're a creator of energy too. Every thought, every word, every action sends energy out into the world. This doesn't mean you have to be positive all the time. That's not realistic or even healthy. But it does mean being mindful of the overall energy you're contributing to the world around you. As you go through your day, try to be aware of the different energies you encounter. Notice how different places make you feel. Pay attention to how your energy shifts when you interact with different people. This awareness is the first step in learning to work with energy in a more conscious way. Working with energy is a skill that takes practice, just like any other. Don't get discouraged if you don't feel like an energy master right away. Start small, maybe by setting an intention for your day each morning, or by taking a few moments to clear your energy before you go to sleep at night. Over time, you'll become more attuned to the subtle energies around and within you. Understanding and working with energy can open up a whole new dimension of experience. It can help you navigate life with more ease and grace, create more harmonious relationships, and even improve your physical health. As you become more aware of energy, you might find that you're naturally drawn to people, places, and activities that uplift and inspire you. Remember, at its core, this concept is about recognizing that we're all connected through this invisible field of energy. When we understand this, we can start to see how our individual actions and thoughts contribute to the collective energy of our world. And that's a pretty amazing thing to be aware of. Let's talk about something that might seem simple, but has the power to change your life: gratitude. Now, you might be thinking, I know I should be grateful, but what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, gratitude is like a magic key that can unlock a world of abundance and joy in your life. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you when someone does something nice for you. It's a way of looking at the world, of noticing and appreciating all the good things in your life, big and small. It's about focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. Think about it this way. Have you ever gotten a new phone or a new pair of shoes, and at first you were so excited about it, but after a while you just took it for granted? That's because our brains are wired to get used to things quickly. Gratitude is a way of reminding ourselves of all the good things we might be overlooking. When you practice gratitude, you start to see the world differently. That cup of coffee in the morning, it becomes a moment of joy rather than just a routine. The roof over your head, it becomes a blessing rather than just a given. Even challenges can be seen in a new light when you approach them with gratitude. But gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It actually changes your brain. When you consistently practice gratitude, you're training your mind to look for the positive in every situation. Over time, this can lead to increased happiness, better relationships, and even improved physical health. Here's a simple way to start practicing gratitude. Every night before you go to bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for from that day. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for the delicious sandwich you had for lunch, or for the kind smile from a stranger, or for the comfortable pillow you're about to rest your head on. At first, this might feel a bit forced or awkward. That's okay. Like any new habit, it takes time to get used to. But stick with it, and you'll start to notice changes. You might find yourself naturally noticing more things to be grateful for throughout your day. You might start to feel more positive and optimistic in general. Gratitude can be especially powerful when things aren't going well. When you're facing challenges or feeling down, it can be hard to feel grateful. But that's when gratitude is most important. Even in the toughest times, there's usually something to be grateful for, even if it's just the fact that you're still breathing. Remember, gratitude isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging the good alongside the bad. It's about choosing where to focus your attention. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're less likely to get caught up in negative thoughts and feelings. Gratitude can also transform your relationships. When you express appreciation for the people in your life, it strengthens your connection with them. Try telling someone specifically what you appreciate about them. It could be something big, like how they've always been there for you, or something small, like how they make great coffee. You might be surprised at how much this simple act can deepen your relationships. As you practice gratitude, you might start to notice a shift in your perspective on life. Things that used to bother you might not seem as important. You might find yourself complaining less and appreciating more. This doesn't mean you'll never feel negative emotions. That's not the goal. The goal is to create a balanced perspective where you can acknowledge difficulties while still appreciating the good in your life. Gratitude can also help you attract more good things into your life. This isn't about some magical process, but rather about how gratitude changes your mindset. When you're grateful, you're more likely to notice opportunities. You're more likely to take action on those opportunities. And you're more likely to appreciate the results, creating a positive cycle. One powerful way to deepen your gratitude practice is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down a few things you're grateful for. Over time, you'll create a record of all the good in your life. On tough days, you can look back at this journal and remind yourself of all the blessings you've experienced. Remember, gratitude is a practice. It's not about forcing yourself to feel a certain way, but about consistently directing your attention towards the good in your life. Some days it will be easier than others, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep at it, even when it feels difficult. As you cultivate gratitude, you might find that your definition of abundance changes. Instead of always wanting more, you might start to feel that you have enough. This doesn't mean you stop striving for goals, but rather that you can enjoy the journey more fully, appreciating what you have while working towards what you want. Gratitude is a powerful spiritual tool that can transform your life from the inside out. It's not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the good, even in the midst of challenges. As you practice gratitude, you're likely to find that your life feels richer, more joyful, and more abundant no matter what your external circumstances might be. Now, let's dive into a concept that's gotten a lot of attention in recent years: mindfulness. You might have heard this word thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean? And more importantly, how can it help you in your daily life? At its core, mindfulness is about being fully present and aware in the current moment. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. Sounds simple, right? But in our busy, distracted world, it's actually pretty challenging. Think about how often your mind wanders during the day. You might be having a conversation with someone, but part of your brain is thinking about what you need to do later. Or you're eating a meal, but you're so lost in thought that you barely taste the food. Mindfulness is about breaking this habit of distraction and really experiencing your life as it's happening. Now, you might be wondering, why bother? What's wrong with letting my mind wander? Well, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. Our brains are designed to think, after all. But when we're constantly lost in thought, we miss out on a lot. We miss the beauty of a sunset because we're worrying about tomorrow. We miss the joy of a child's laughter because we're replaying an argument in our head. Mindfulness helps us show up for our own lives. But mindfulness isn't just about experiencing more joy, although that's a nice benefit. It's also a powerful tool for dealing with stress, anxiety, and difficult emotions. When we're mindful, we can observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. It's like watching clouds pass across the sky. You see them, but you don't have to chase after them. Here's a simple mindfulness exercise you can try right now. Take a deep breath and focus all your attention on the sensation of breathing. Notice the air moving in through your nose, filling your lungs, and then flowing out again. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Do this for a few minutes. How did that feel? If you're like most people, you probably found it challenging to keep your focus on your breath. That's okay. Mindfulness is a skill that takes practice. The goal isn't to empty your mind of all thoughts. That's not possible. The goal is to notice when your mind has wandered and gently bring it back to the present moment. Mindfulness can be practiced in many ways. You might set aside time each day for formal meditation, where you sit quietly and focus on your breath or a specific object. But you can also practice mindfulness throughout your day. When you're eating, really taste your food. When you're walking, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. When you're talking with someone, give them your full attention. One of the most powerful aspects of mindfulness is that it helps us respond to life rather than react. When we're not mindful, we often operate on autopilot, reacting to situations based on habit or emotion. But when we're mindful, we create a space between the trigger and our response. This allows us to choose how we want to act, rather than just reacting automatically. Mindfulness can also help us develop self-awareness. As we practice observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, we start to notice patterns. We might realize that certain situations always make us anxious, or that we tend to get irritable when we're hungry. This awareness is the first step in making positive changes in our lives. It's important to note that mindfulness isn't about trying to achieve a particular state of mind. It's not about feeling calm or relaxed, although that can be a nice side effect. It's simply about being aware of whatever is happening in the present moment, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. As you practice mindfulness, you might notice some interesting changes. You might find that you're less reactive in stressful situations. You might notice more beauty in your everyday surroundings. You might even find that you enjoy your food more. These are all common benefits of mindfulness practice. But mindfulness isn't always easy or pleasant. Sometimes when we slow down and pay attention, we become aware of difficult emotions or uncomfortable physical sensations. This is normal and actually part of the process. By learning to be present with these experiences without trying to push them away, we can develop greater resilience and emotional balance. Remember, mindfulness is a practice, not a destination. There's no such thing as being good at mindfulness. Even people who have been practicing for years still have days where their minds are all over the place. The key is to keep coming back to the present moment over and over again with patience and kindness towards yourself. As you incorporate mindfulness into your life, you might find that it deepens your experience of other spiritual practices. Whether you're praying, meditating, or simply appreciating nature, mindfulness can help you be more fully present and engaged in the experience. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for navigating life's ups and downs. It helps us stay grounded in the present moment rather than getting lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. It allows us to experience life more fully, with all its joys and challenges. And perhaps most importantly, it helps us develop a kinder, more compassionate relationship with ourselves and others. Now, let's talk about a concept that might sound simple, but is actually quite profound: letting go. In our world, we're often told that success comes from holding on tight, from controlling everything we can. But there's a different kind of strength that comes from learning to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or not caring. It's about releasing our tight grip on how we think things should be and accepting things as they are. It's about recognizing what we can control and what we can't, and finding peace in that understanding. Think about times in your life when you've been really stressed. Maybe you were worried about something at work or anxious about a relationship. How much of that stress came from trying to control things that were ultimately out of your control? Letting go is about recognizing those situations and choosing to release that need for control. This might sound scary at first. After all, if we let go, won't everything fall apart? But here's the thing. Most of the time, the world keeps turning whether we're trying to control it or not. And often, when we loosen our grip, we create space for new and unexpected good things to come into our lives. Letting go is closely tied to the idea of acceptance. It's about accepting reality as it is, rather than as we wish it would be. This doesn't mean we never try to change things. It just means we start from a place of accepting what is, rather than fighting against reality. Here's a simple practice to start with. The next time you find yourself getting frustrated or anxious about something, take a deep breath and ask yourself, can I change this situation right now? If the answer is yes, then take action. But if the answer is no, see if you can practice letting go. This might mean changing your focus to something else, or simply acknowledging your feelings without getting caught up in them. Letting go can be especially powerful when it comes to past hurts or regrets. We often carry around emotional baggage from things that happened long ago. While it's important to process our emotions, there comes a point where holding on to these old hurts does more harm than good. Practicing letting go can help us release this old pain and move forward with greater freedom. One area where many of us struggle with letting go is in our relationships. We often have strong ideas about how other people should behave or what they should do. But the truth is, we can't control others. When we learn to let go of our need to change or control other people, our relationships often improve. We can love and accept people as they are, rather than as we think they should be. Letting go is also closely tied to forgiveness. When we hold on to anger or resentment towards others, we're the ones who suffer. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying that what happened was okay. It means choosing to release the negative emotions associated with it for your own peace of mind. Now, it's important to note that letting go is not a one-time event. It's a practice, something we need to do over and over again. You might let go of something today only to find yourself holding on tight again tomorrow. That's okay. The key is to keep practicing, to keep choosing to let go whenever you notice yourself holding on too tightly. Letting go can also apply to material possessions. In our consumer-driven world, we often accumulate a lot of stuff. But all this stuff can weigh us down, both physically and emotionally. Practicing letting go of material things we no longer need can create a sense of lightness and freedom in our lives. As you practice letting go, you might notice some interesting changes. You might find that you feel less stressed and anxious. You might discover a greater sense of peace and contentment. You might even find that good things start flowing into your life more easily now that you're not trying to control everything. Letting go is closely tied to trust. When we let go, we're trusting in something bigger than ourselves. This might be God, the universe, or simply the natural flow of life. Whatever you believe in, letting go involves trusting that things will work out, even if they don't work out exactly as we planned. Remember, letting go doesn't mean we become passive in our lives. We can still have goals, make plans, and work towards what we want. The difference is in how we approach these things. Instead of clinging tightly to specific outcomes, we can do our best and then let go of the results. Letting go is a powerful spiritual practice that can bring more peace, freedom, and joy into our lives. It's about releasing our tight grip on how we think things should be and opening ourselves up to the flow of life. As we practice letting go, we might find that life becomes less of a struggle and more of an adventure. Now that we've explored several key spiritual concepts, let's dive into a practical exercise that can help you apply these ideas in your daily life. This exercise is simple, but don't let its simplicity fool you. It can be incredibly powerful when practiced regularly. We're going to call this exercise the mindful gratitude moment. It combines several of the concepts we've discussed: mindfulness, gratitude, and living in the present. Here's how it works. Find a quiet moment in your day. It could be first thing in the morning, during your lunch break, or just before bed. Sit comfortably and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Now, bring your attention to the present moment. Notice your surroundings. What do you see? What do you hear? What can you feel? Take a moment to really be present with these sensations. Next, think of 3 things you're grateful for right now. They can be big things or small things. Maybe you're grateful for the comfortable chair you're sitting in, or for the friend who called to check on you earlier, or for the fact that you have food in your refrigerator. As you think of each thing you're grateful for, really let yourself feel that gratitude. Don't just list things off in your head. Really connect with the feeling of appreciation for each thing. Finally, take a deep breath and set an intention to carry this sense of gratitude and presence with you throughout your day. This entire exercise can take as little as 5 minutes, but its effects can last much longer. By combining mindfulness and gratitude, you're training your brain to be more present and more appreciative. Over time, you may find that you naturally start to notice more things to be grateful for throughout your day. But here's the key. Consistency is more important than duration. It's better to do this exercise for 5 minutes every day than to do it for an hour once a week. Make it a daily habit, like brushing your teeth or checking your email. As you practice this exercise, you might notice some challenges. Your mind might wander, or you might have days where it's hard to think of things to be grateful for. That's okay. The practice isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about showing up and doing it consistently, even when it's difficult. You might also find that this exercise evolves over time. Maybe you'll want to journal about your gratitude after the exercise. Or perhaps you'll want to share your gratitude with others, telling people in your life what you appreciate about them. Feel free to adapt the exercise in ways that work best for you. Remember, this is just one of many possible spiritual practices. The goal is to find practices that resonate with you and help you connect with your inner wisdom. This exercise is a great starting point, but don't be afraid to explore other practices as well. As we explore these spiritual concepts, it's natural to have some doubts or questions. Let's address a couple of common ones that people often have when they're starting on this journey. One common doubt is this stuff really going to make a difference in my life? It's a fair question. After all, we live in a world that often values tangible results over internal growth. But here's the thing. While spiritual practices might not immediately change your external circumstances, they can profoundly change how you experience and respond to those circumstances. Think about it this way. Imagine 2 people facing the exact same challenging situation. One person is stressed, anxious, and feeling like a victim. The other is calm, centered, and looking for opportunities to learn and grow. Who do you think is going to handle the situation better? Who do you think is going to be happier and more resilient in the long run? That's what these spiritual practices can do for you. They don't magically make problems disappear, but they give you the tools to navigate life's challenges with more grace, wisdom, and inner peace. Another common doubt is, I'm not a spiritual person. Can this really work for me? The beautiful thing about these practices is that they don't require you to believe in any particular religion or spiritual system. You don't need to label yourself as spiritual to benefit from mindfulness, gratitude, or letting go. These practices are really about connecting with your own inner wisdom and developing a healthier relationship with yourself and the world around you. Whether you consider yourself spiritual, religious, agnostic, or atheist, these practices can still be valuable tools for personal growth and well-being. It's also worth noting that doubts are a natural part of any growth process. If you find yourself doubting or questioning these ideas, that's okay. In fact, it can be healthy to approach new concepts with a bit of skepticism. The key is to keep an open mind and be willing to try things out for yourself. Remember, you don't have to accept everything we've discussed here wholesale. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. These are tools for you to explore and adapt to your own life and beliefs. As we wrap up our exploration of these spiritual concepts, let's take a moment to see how they all fit together. At first glance, ideas like connection, living in the present, energy, gratitude, mindfulness, and letting go might seem like separate topics. But in reality, they're all interconnected aspects of a more mindful, spiritual approach to life. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of the present moment. This awareness helps us notice the connections between ourselves and others, and to feel the energy around us. As we become more present, we naturally start to notice more things to be grateful for. Gratitude, in turn, helps us let go of our need to control everything, as we appreciate what we already have. Letting go creates space in our lives for new experiences and growth. It allows us to be more open to the flow of energy around us. And as we let go of our attachments to specific outcomes, we find it easier to stay present in the moment. All of these practices work together to help us live more fully, more joyfully, and more peacefully. They help us navigate the ups and downs of life with more grace and resilience. They allow us to connect more deeply with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. But remember, this is a journey, not a destination. You don't have to master all of these concepts overnight. In fact, you never really master them at all. It's an ongoing process of growth and discovery. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. The key is to keep showing up, to keep practicing, even when it's challenging. As we come to the end of our exploration of these spiritual things you need to know, I hope you're feeling inspired and empowered. Remember, the concepts we've discussed, connection, living in the present, energy, gratitude, mindfulness, and letting go, are not just abstract ideas. They're practical tools that you can use every day to create a more fulfilling, joyful, and peaceful life. Start small. Maybe begin with the mindful gratitude moment exercise we discussed. Do it for just a few minutes each day and see how it affects your mood and outlook. Or choose one concept that really resonates with you and focus on incorporating it into your daily life. As you practice these ideas, be patient and kind with yourself. Growth takes time, and there will be ups and downs along the way. That's not just okay, it's part of the journey. Each challenge is an opportunity to practice these concepts in real-life situations. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be more aware, more present, more grateful, and more at peace. It's about connecting more deeply with yourself, with others, and with the world around you. It's about living your life more fully and authentically. These spiritual concepts have the power to transform your life from the inside out. They can help you find peace in the midst of chaos, joy in the midst of challenges, and meaning in the everyday moments of your life. So take these ideas with you. Explore them, practice them, make them your own. And as you do, you may find that your life becomes richer, more meaningful, and more beautiful than you ever imagined possible. This is just the beginning of your journey. Embrace it with an open heart and an open mind, and see where it takes you. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of spiritual things you need to know. May your journey be filled with growth, discovery, and joy. Remember, the wisdom you seek is already within you. These practices are simply tools to help you access it. Trust in your own inner guidance and let it lead you to a life of greater peace, purpose, and fulfillment.